My name is Allie Mills. I am the Healthcare Industry Council lead here at West Michigan Works, and I manage the West Michigan Health Careers Council, who is sponsoring this webinar today. So I do want to show you guys, just a quick introduction of the council itself. For those of you who don't know, we are a council of collaborative healthcare systems, educators, and workforce development and economic development organizations. And we essentially just work together to strengthen the West Michigan healthcare industry. And we do that a lot through workforce development, identifying certain pain points for our employers and things like that. If you want to keep up to date with us, we do have a website, which is wmihealthcareers.org. And that's our webpage right there. And then we also have a newsletter that you can sign up for on our webpage as well. All right, so I am going to introduce our panelists here, and I'm going to give them just 30 seconds to do an introduction of themselves and their organization. So why don't we start with Doug from Holland Home?
Thanks, Allie. Hi, my name is Doug Himmeline. I work for Holland Home. Holland Home, and I'm the Vice President of Human Resources also. But Holland Home, we're located here in Grand Rapids. We have nursing homes, home care and hospice, assisted living, and independent living units. So we're a retirement community, and it's a pleasure to be on the panel here.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's go with Linda from Grand Rapids Community College.
Hi everyone, it's nice to be with you today. My name's Linda Whitty, and I am the program developer and manager for all of the health certificate programs at Grand Rapids Community College. And I've spent my entire career working in healthcare, and I'm so glad that you're all interested in a potential career in healthcare as well.
Awesome, and then let's go Nicole from Mercy Health.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I am the Career Development Services Manager for Trinity Health Michigan, and I am sitting here in the space of St. Mary's Mercy Health in Grand Rapids. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, and then Steve from Metro.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Steve Smith. I'm a Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist with Metro Health, University of Michigan Health. We are an affiliate of the University of Michigan Health System, and we're a 208-bed acute care hospital and have various physician offices throughout the greater Grand Rapids area.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here. So we will just jump right into our questions. So our first question, and I would like each of you to answer this, but I'll go around and call on you. So our first question are, what are the perks of working in the healthcare industry? So Doug, let's start with you.
Sure. You know, in my setting, we are nursing homes, assisted living, home care and hospice. You know, it's relationship building. So if you're the type of person that wants to make a difference in someone's heart every single day, this is the place for you. Nothing against other settings, but you know, healthcare is unique with that. So that is a big perk. You get that reward, that internal reward of job satisfaction, and you know, it goes a long ways in life. So that's always one of my big talking points. You know, I'll let the group talk, and then we can kind of come back to me if you want more talking points. There's a lot. I could keep going on this one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Steve, let's go to you. What perks do you think?
I think one, just the variety of options that you can work in, just positions, both clinical and non-clinical, but also the options with scheduling. Healthcare is one of those industries that runs 24/7. And so, you know, if you need for that life-work balance to need to work days, there's day shift. If you need seconds, there's positions there, second shift. If you need nights, there's night shift. And you can really get some flexibility. If you like to be on your feet and constantly moving, there's opportunities to do that. It's just, there's a lot of different variety of things that you can do. And you could work in a clinical position, and then maybe you decide you want to work into a non-clinical or vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Nicole, what about you? What are your favorite perks of the industry?
Yeah, I echo a lot of what Steve shared with that. In addition to it, the career ladder in healthcare is just large and it's vast and it's exciting because you can come in at an entry level position and quickly move, scale up into a mid-manager level if that's what you desire to do. In addition to, though, with healthcare, what I have found the most rewarding is that you have an opportunity to serve and make a difference in your community, and you are a reflection of your community in that industry that you join, whether it's healthcare, if it's skilled nursing, wherever that facility is, you're making a difference and you are part of your own community.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Linda, what do you think?
Well, where to start, right? With a career in healthcare, to work in the healthcare industry, first of all, like Doug said, it's so rewarding. It's so personally rewarding to make a difference in somebody else's life and to get paid for that, and to be able to serve other people. And it really takes if you have a servant heart, that this is the place to be. Wages have really come up in the past. Even I've been in my current role for about 12 years now, and wages have come up. You're able to sustain a standard of living working in healthcare, and so in that way, it's really great. And then you look even in this time of this pandemic, where they're the frontline workers, but yet they have the first access to PPE, they have the first access to vaccines. And so I have family members that are working the front line right now, and they just feel like it's so rewarding to give that service, and yet to have access to all the things to keep themselves safe, and that matters to their employers. Our area employers, I can speak to one not employed by them. They really care that their employees are fulfilled with their work. And that's not something you get in other sectors. And so they really try to offer programs and to work with you to make sure that you're in a career that's fulfilling to you. And that's, I think, is one of the strong points of being in healthcare as well.
Can I actually expand a little bit more, Ellie? There's a
Absolutely.
lot of things. So let's just talk through. I've been with Howland Tome now. I think I'm up to 24 years, and through my journey here, it's been a very stable career. Healthcare, you don't get the ups and downs of the economy, and this is, for the most part, been a very, very stable part. So if you're an individual that doesn't like change or be all of a sudden outsourced or downsized, healthcare is one that is very stable, and it's a growing area. If you look at downtown Grand Rapids, just look at the growth that we have saw in Grand Rapids in the community, even outside of downtown. I mean, Metro, you have actually moved campuses through the time. Howland Tome, we're a growing company. So that is something that the growth and the opportunity, and again, if you're someone that wants to grow, I can't remember which one of us just talked about the career laddering. There's room to grow professionally, and a lot of it is just internal growth. Sometimes we tap into the college to get that growth, that next step or advancement, but a lot of times we grow our own, and that is a nice thing.
If I could share too with that, Doug, I always tell my colleagues and my staff, I grew up in healthcare. And I chose healthcare because, as Doug said, it's always needed. First and foremost, it's 24/7, and it's about the people. So if you are a people person and you want to serve in that space, then this is the place to be. And the opportunities are huge. I mean, I started as a HR specialist, and I've grown into a managerial position. And so I encourage those that are seeking out the healthcare, if you want to make a difference, if you love to work with people in healthcare, and I'm sure Steve can share as well and echo the same, we put a lot of work into our colleagues. And what I mean by that is that our main priority is that you are engaged, that you enjoy the work that you're doing, and that you also have that downtime. So it's an even balance. But if you want someone to really pour into you, healthcare is a space for that. We need to make sure that our employees are well so that we can treat and serve our patients in that same capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for that, all of those feedback. So in terms of wanting to get into healthcare, and Linda, I'm going to start with you on this one. How would you suggest a job seeker or a student, where would you suggest they start in terms of trying to get into the healthcare field?
Well, it all depends. I hate that answer, but yet, you know, I started my own journey just in working in the entry levels where you didn't need special education to get into the career. I actually started in, when I was 14, my dad told me, "Happy birthday, Linda, you can work legally. I got you a job in a pharmacy, a family friend's pharmacy." So I started in the pharmacy, but then when I worked in some of the healthcare systems that are on this panel, then I started not only as a volunteer when I was younger, but you can volunteer. They love volunteers, but also there are a lot of entry-level jobs. So I was a direct care worker, and you didn't need to have a college degree for that or a special education at that point. Then I moved into being a CNA, where you did have to have that certification. I did some activity therapy, and then for part of the time, given that flexibility with my family, I went and worked in the offices for a while and did some not patient care, but important work in healthcare. And then I became a medical assistant, and now I'm a trainer. So there are a lot of entry-level positions that our health employers have. If you want to get your foot in the door and see, is this for me? You know, when I was volunteering, delivering those menus around back in Candy Striper days, you know, I got to see, yeah, there's nurses, but here's social workers, and here's the direct care techs, and here's ward clerks, and here's all these different people. You know, here's the financial department folks and the HR folks, and you get to see all the different roles that there are. So there are a lot of entry-level jobs or even volunteer opportunities where you get exposure. And I think that's a great path to take. That's the path I took. Now I have a daughter that knew that she wanted to be a nurse. And so she went right and got her 4-year degree, and because she knew that's what she wanted. So for her, that was the better path. I kind of wanted to see the lay of the land and see what was out there. I ended up working with development and disabled populations to try that out, the senior populations, the ambulatory, the offices, with the doctor offices, and I worked in behavioral health care. So I tried a little bit of everything, and I was able to move around within those employers and be able to see what's out there to make sure I knew what was going to be a great career for me. And that changed over time, but my employers were able to accommodate that. So that worked really, really well. We, of course, would love to have you start when you have education needs to start with GRCC. We're happy to help you get that started. But we'll probably talk a little bit more about pathways in education later. But that's a little bit about how I got started and how maybe some ideas for you. And I'm sure that I don't want to speak for our employers, but if they don't, I'll circle back with some of the jobs that could be entry level for you.
Yeah, definitely. So Doug, what do you think would be a good piece of advice for those trying to get into healthcare?
You know, the nice thing with healthcare in Grand Rapids, we're very tight. It doesn't matter if you're long-term care or if you're in a hospital setting or in the colleges, actually. I recommend stopping and talk to the recruitment department. Steve talked about the variety of positions that we have. You know, you just think of clinical positions, but we have maintenance, we have grounds, we have electricians, HVAC, plumbers. You know, we're just starting up a plumber intern apprentice program here. And it's something that we're very creative on coming up with jobs. So, you know, it's if it's a position that takes education, we work closely with GRCC, for an example. And I would talk a little bit later on about the CNA class, but all of our settings works with the colleges because we need the colleges to grow our individuals. We all have tuition reimbursement. So I don't think you don't have the skill set to come to work for us. I bet you most everybody has a skill set that can be developed and grown into potentially something you don't even know of. Linda talked a little bit about she wanted to sample a little bit the different settings, and that's the nice thing with all the companies on the panel. We promote from within. There's career ladderings. Work with your HR department or recruiting department, and that'll help you develop yourself. And again, if you got the drive, we've got the opportunities for you.
Yeah. So Nicole, I know you work in career development. So once someone has their foot in the door, what would you suggest to them if they are looking to kind of climb the ladder?
Sure. And I wanted to jump in. I had all these things going on. If you don't mind me
Whatever you want to say, go for it.
So for those of you that have interest, as Doug was saying, we are a large community that collaborates together. GRCC, our community partners such as WMCAT, West Michigan Works, Urban League, all of them are connected to all of us on this panel. And so if you feel like, from the outside, Nicole, where do I go to apply? I've applied online. You do have your community too that is supporting you, that can help you. West Michigan Works is a big organization that does have individuals that can even come in and have one-on-one. But if you are internal, what we have, and I'm happy to lead at Trinity Health Michigan, is that we have a career development center. And so in there, if you were in a position, you have a career coach that you can go to that works beside you to help you in your moving up the ladder. What they do is they take you through a series of assessments to determine where you are at in your career, what you aspire to be. And then we have a resource navigator on site also that helps you if you need to sign up at GRCC for more education. If you are seeking to go job shadow somewhere else, they're there to walk beside you. So that's internal, but we also have that service available to those that are external. So if you have a desire and you want to come to Mercy Health in Grand Rapids, you can go to West Michigan Works, and we connect you with a career coach who is direct linked to our program, and they career coach you, get you prepared, determine where you sit or what's the best fit for you, and to help you with your application process within the organization.
Yes, definitely. So if any of you are interested in that, please, we will send out contact information following the webinar as well for West Michigan Works. So if you do want to get involved in that program, we can help you with that as well. So Steve, what are your thoughts on getting into the healthcare industry, maybe career pathways, things like that?
Yeah, and for me, like it's one of those things that, it's sometimes like, oh, well, not sure maybe if it's an industry I want to work in or want to check things out. For me, I started as an intern. I started volunteering. I really, to be honest, didn't know a whole lot about healthcare. I honestly didn't really know a whole lot about HR either. But when you're able to get into an organization, start off, and you find those great mentors that teach you and are there to show you the options. And that's one of those things that, you find within healthcare that, there just seems to be that strong willingness on everybody to help everybody succeed. We all come to work with serving hearts and being there to help everybody succeed, because at the end of the day, it is about the patients and providing that care. And so, don't think that you have to know, but think about what you like in the work that you do, or, whether it's jobs you've had, or like, what do you enjoy about that work? And then you can explore whether it's talking with career services, whether it be if you're at school talking with those, or, with West Michigan Works, job shadow. If there's a position or something you think you're interested in, see if there's job shadow opportunities. Talk to people, that work in the industry that have, in the jobs they work in or what they see, to start exploring. And, if it's volunteering or even just starting in, some positions that may not require special education to get into that type of role, like a certain certification or training, but just starting off, sometimes like Materials handlers come to mind. They go around all over the hospital, you know, stocking and helping out, delivering orders and things like that. And that you get to see the entire hospital and interact with a lot of different positions. And so you can start exploring the environment and finding those ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I follow up with my GRCC hat now? I shared some of my own stories.
Yes, absolutely.
So I run the health certificate programs, and some of the students that come to us are already working in healthcare. So they might be that materials handler, they might work in laundry services or patient escort, or they might be in nutrition services or environmental services. And so they want to go their next step in the career ladder. And in healthcare, a lot of times when you do that and you want a more clinically advanced role, you do have to go back for training, for certification of some sort. And so they come to us to take that next step. And some people are not, and they just know that this is what they want to do, or they like the regular hours, or they like the flexible hours, and they want to help out people. So I would say too that for if any of you are saying, "Oh, I'd like to, but I can't afford any tuition right now," don't let that thought stop you from exploring your options. One of the great things about the Health Employer Council and about our group as we work together is that we apply for grants and we look for ways to help fund education in the workforce in healthcare. And so between the colleges, West Michigan Works, our community organizations, and our employers, there might be financial resources. So I would encourage you to explore this and not let that be a barrier as you start exploring what might be a good fit for you, because there may be financial resources out there for you. West Michigan Works, GRCC, we have coaches, I call them coaches anyways, that they can help you figure all that out. And so don't let that be a barrier for you.
Yes, definitely. So in terms of what is the next steps for people who do want to get into healthcare, what types of jobs are available right now in those high demand positions? Doug, let's start with you.
Okay, sure. So we're nursing homes, so we actually hire a lot of entry-level staff with no experience. So we have nurse aides that we train, and then CNAs that we actually partner with Grand Rapids Community College. They actually have a CNA class. And if you don't mind, I can give my little story journey about the CNA class.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's actually kind of how I started off in my career. I went through college thinking I want to be a nursing home administrator. So I got my CNA certificate back years ago. And, I found out that was one of the most rewarding ones. And I was a guy that's never babysitted, never took care of people, thinking, what did I get into? But you know what? My heart actually enjoyed it. And I got to have a lot of aunts and uncles and grandpas and grandmas, quite frankly, that you build these relationships with. And then I came to Holland Town as an intern, so kind of jumping on Steve's story, and I've been here ever since. And I started off at the bottom of HR and slowly worked my way up to the top. But the CNA classroom here has been a very valuable experience for West Michigan. We don't hire all the people. Actually, we get a small number of the employees coming through there or students coming through there. They go to all different settings. So just because you're coming here for the CNA class doesn't mean you're working for Holland Home. You might end up in a hospital setting or another long-term care setting. And it's a great exposure there. So nurse aides is a main job. Food services, we actually have a lot of dietary positions from cooks to servers to dishwashers or delivery folks. Grounds, right now, we've been having a lot of snow, and summertime, we've got a lot of grass to cut. So we got full-time year-round seasoned guys and gals that work in our grounds department, and if you loved outside work, again, you don't think of those type of jobs, but we have outside jobs that are available. So those are the main ones that we have available pretty much all the time, someplace within our system.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of some of those entry-level positions that you just mentioned, what type of career pathways would you suggest to someone who maybe is starting at that nutrition services or EVS perhaps? Nicole, or anyone who wants to answer.
No, go ahead.
So thank you. So we have an intentional program that is designed for it's called our Rise Up program, and it's designed around entry-level positions specifically. So those positions are in nutrition services, environmental services, pharmacy, medical assistant, patient care assistant. And with those individuals, when they have, for example, let's talk about a nutrition services person. As Doug was saying, and Steve, some positions you get to see all of the location that you're servicing. So nutrition services gets to see a lot on the floors. They're traveling throughout the hospital, so they themselves get to see if that's an interest. They may see nursing as an interest, but when they come to us and they say, I'm in nutrition services, but I'd like to grow, a lot of them we have found over the past year are growing into the patient care assistant role, moving over to medical assistant, and ultimately their goal is to become nursing. But we've also had individuals that take the career path going from nutritional services over to pharmacy, the pharm tech role. So, it's branching, but it's making that, they have to decide whether or not they want to be in the clinical piece of work, if that's the career they want to land, or if they want to go administrative, because we also have had people start out in environmental services who are now working in our business center, and they're handling insurance claims or billing areas. So there's a lot of different branches that can come from that entry-level position.
Yeah, definitely. So, oh, Steve, go ahead. You have something to say?
Well, I was wanted to jump in on with that. I know like there's a lot of talk with the clinical pieces and seeing that, but like what Nicole was saying on that non-clinical side, that I'll see people start in like a clinical secretary type role. That's generally an administrative position, helping out within one of the inpatient units or departments. But there's patient registration. If you go in for, say, a blood draw or radiology or imaging, the person that checks you in and verifies your information, insurance, makes sure you know where you're going, what's going on. That can be a spot. We have patient service representatives. Some places call them, I think, receptionist front desk, and I think it's primarily patient service rep. You'll find if you're looking into options within healthcare, every company kind of has their own variation of the job title a little bit, but there's front desk positions within physician offices, checking people in, checking out. There's schedulers, and Nicole had mentioned, billing and insurance claims. So there are a lot of different options that you can go on the non-clinical side too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the coolest things about healthcare is if you can think of a job, it's probably relevant in healthcare as well. So as we're getting wrapping up to get to our Q&A section, I'm going to give each of you just a chance to give any last minute advice or suggestions to our attendees. So Doug, let's start with you. Any last minute statements that you'd like to say?
Yeah, don't be afraid. Jump in. I mean, we have opportunities for you in healthcare. Healthcare is growing right now. We actually need folks. This is an area that I think we're all hiring. And again, don't be afraid if you don't think you have the skill set or the best work history. We're here willing to work with you. And that's the key, is work with you to help you. So that's my advice. Don't wait. Take the opportunity now.
Awesome. All right, what about you, Linda?
Just like Doug said, we're here to help. And a lot of times in healthcare, a good healthcare worker is about service to other people. So to reach out for yourself is difficult. I know it is for me, but this is such an important field. Where else can what you do make a difference in between life and death, in enhancing the life of people? And so take that step. And there are many places you can take that step. Take it where it's comfortable for you. If it's comfortable in your community organization, take it there. They'll make your way to the rest of us. You know, if it's through education, you know, come to GRCC's MTech. We'll talk to you about it. You know, go to one of the employers. They'll help and they'll direct you if you need community organization. So we all work together. Take that first step wherever you're comfortable, and you'll find your way.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Nicole, what about you?
Healthcare, if you're interested, now is the time. We have learned over the past year, the pandemic has changed the landscape of healthcare, and it's forced us to step into spaces that are uncomfortable. So now is the time. It's heightened the necessary for frontline service workers, the value. All positions are valuable, but really we are really honing in and wrapping around a lot of services and support to our frontline individuals. So if you are interested, if you want a job that makes you fulfill you in terms of purpose, healthcare is a space. And there are so many different jobs. You can start out, like Doug was sharing, as an entry-level position and grow to be a leader. So don't be afraid to do it. You do have a lot of community support. You can go to many, as Linda was saying, different areas that are educators, other employers, community agencies. But take the first step, you know, dig deep into you and ask yourself the question, do I want to make a difference? And if you do, join healthcare.
All right, Steve, you're up.
And adding to all of that great advice, know that you don't need to have the answers right now. You don't need to know everything. You don't know, hey, yep, I want to do this. There are many resources out there that can help you explore the different options, learn about them. And, you know, sometimes it's not till you get into an opportunity, you get into a position and you discover that, you know, that's really for you. And that's what you want to do every day. So just don't feel like that you need to have the answers right now. Like Nicole was saying, take that first step.
All right, so we are going to get into our question and answer portion of the webinar. So just a reminder for those of you attending, you can type any questions you have into that question panel part of the platform. So, and then I will read them out to the panelists. So let's start with a fun one, an easy one. What is your favorite thing about working in healthcare? Whoever wants to answer,
I'll
go
jump
ahead.
in. I love the people. I think that it is so rewarding to see individuals healing, individuals succeeding, and you see it from both ends. You get to see the patients having this awesome care, but then to walk beside individuals that you see are growing. And for me in HR, you know, when you hire someone and get to see them grow within the organization, that just takes it to a whole nother level for me.
Anybody else, their favorite part?
Well, when I worked in healthcare, what I liked was how we all came together. So I worked as a part of a team. And so we would work together, and we had that really close bonding relationship as coworkers. And then to see that we could do good together and work together to meet somebody's needs, that's my favorite things. Those are my favorite days when we could just see how we came together to make a good outcome for someone else.
Doug or Steve?
Yeah, my favorite part here is, you know, I don't get to do the hands-on care. So in my job being administrative, I'm giving the tools to my staff to touch the hearts of the residents that were here living in our communities, where we're providing a service for. So, you know, it's kind of me working through someone else to get to the heart of the client or the resident that we're serving. And it's all about people. Healthcare is people. And, you know, if you're not someone that likes to work with people, you know, inside the building it's a challenge. But again, we have opportunities outside grounds. It's more of a one-on-one job. But you know what? In our settings, our residents bring out cookies. I mean, our grounds guys are one of the most, I don't want to say the healthy ones, but they get recognized from our residents in their home when they're mowing the lawn all the time. And it's that friendship even that they make mowing the lawn. So yeah, so it's the people that is the rewarding piece.
Yeah, and I think no matter what position you're in, what you're doing, you're able to make a big impact. And for me too, it's a very supportive environment, that very supported in the work that I'm doing in my role. And I see, other people in the role that they're in. It's just very supportive in what you're looking to do.
So one of the questions we got from the audience was, what is the general consensus on hiring a job-ready person with no medical experience, perhaps someone who's been in an office position or in manufacturing?
Come on over.
There are skills from your previous experiences that you will bring in to this. I spent time in the factory too, and no, I never got fired or anything from all my jobs, just to put that out there. But you take that efficiency. How can I do this efficient, save a step for myself? So you take some of that in, you take that customer service in, and that all makes you a better employee, and you'll use that in healthcare.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all had to start somewhere.
Right.
We all had our beginning where we didn't have experience, and you got to start somewhere. So we get that.
Would you still suggest that an applicant apply if maybe they don't feel like they have all the listed requirements?
Absolutely. Like I think we said earlier, just jump in. Don't be scared to try something new out. There are so many different entry-level positions that do not require many skills. So you're selling yourself short if you don't. Take the chance. We are open to all individuals. And as Linda said, I think we all have customer service in us. So somewhere we can apply that within a position that's available.
Another question we got was, so we put the first cohort of our community health workers, so we put students through that program through GRCC and Spectrum. How would you suggest we prepare them to get full-time positions in this high demand industry?
That's a tricky question. A lot of times with community health workers, they are a part of an organization. So community health worker is all about building a trusting relationship with the people that you're going to serve, but also you'll want to build that trusting relationship with employers so that they know who you are and they know that you have that ability to have that kind of relationship, and that will so that they'll turn to you when they have those openings.
I can tell you. So we have a large private duty and home care division. We have full-time opportunities available. So, GRCC is positioning the person with a skill set to go out into the community because it is more of an autonomous role. You can come into our buildings and you've got 15, 20 other coworkers always right around you. So you do need that independent side when you work in the community because it's you and the individual usually in their home. So definitely we do have full-time opportunities that can work around. And the big thing about that is flexible scheduling is available too. Weekends, evenings, work around your kids' schedule. That's a big thing. So yeah, there is a need for full-time.
And I would say due to the pandemic, it's even heightened that even more so. This is a critical role that, is working side by side with those individuals that need access to healthcare. So just, it's great to go through the training if that's a desire and a career path that you want to go down. I've seen other individuals that go into career, the CHW role, and they go into social work. So there's a lot of different career pathways, again, just, those that are inquiring and looking into that growth.
All right, another question we got was, do you all have any entry-level IT positions for newly certified individuals?
I'm looking at Steve like, do you want to go?
So I can jump in.
Yeah.
Do we have them? Yes. Do we have openings right now? Yesterday when I looked, we don't. I think with our IT department right now, we have one opening that is it's very focused on networking, doing a lot with Cisco phones, routers, and switches. But we do have those opportunities and within our IT, and I think a lot of healthcare organizations do that. You have your entry level all the way up to your experienced.
Yeah, and those for Trinity Health, we have openings consistently because Trinity Health is the parent company of St. Mary's Mercy Health. And so our IT can work within 22 different states. So I would encourage you to look at the website. We do have entry-level positions. We do have some that are in Grand Rapids, and they do a lot of training around those positions. So I encourage you to look at them.
So one key on this, if we don't have an opportunity today, still apply, because I can tell you each one of our companies keeps those resumes and applications on file, and we'll go back and we'll cultivate those later on when opportunities do come open. A month ago, we actually had IT help desk position open, so we're in the same boat. We have nothing today, but a month ago we did have that entry level help desk position open.
Or if I could add to, like Steve was saying, the opportunity to be an intern, to, reach out to the organization if you want to join, Metro Health or whomever you desire, to look at that organization and see if there's an internship or a job shadow opportunity, just to get a better understanding and make that connection and network with that organization of choice.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll do one last question. What are some common misconceptions about the healthcare industry?
Not a safe place to work.
Oh, yeah.
The pandemic, I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's not safe. I think we're probably one of the safer places to work because we were in first in line for all the personal protective equipment. So you think of the face mask, the gloves, the gown. There was a shortage at first. A lot of companies were scrambling. Healthcare workers were given that priority to get those essential supplies. We actually do COVID testing twice a week right now for our staff. Well, actually, I think we're down to once a week now. But that is something that partly because we're regulated very high. So I think there's a lot of scrutiny that's put on healthcare to make sure we're providing a safe environment for our people we're providing care to. It doesn't matter if you're in a hospital setting or long-term care setting. We're highly regulated, and so I would throw that piece away. Is that an area to go to because it's not safe? It doesn't matter what area you're in. You're being trained on infection control. That's annual in-services across the board, from dietary, our maintenance folks, clinical staff, obviously, but you're educated on those areas. So I would encourage people, don't be afraid to come to us because you think you're going to catch something.
Sorry. I was going to say education. Everyone feels that they have to have a degree when they come to work, and that's not necessarily the case. So don't feel that education is a barrier. It's a misconception when people think you have to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think too that, I'm always wanted to work in the medical field, or, I don't have family members in the medical field, so it's not for me. And when you hear medical field or healthcare, you always think doctors and nurses. They only make up about a third of the positions in the industry. And so there's a lot of options and opportunities out there.
Absolutely.
Well, that was my two. I was going to say that the one misconception is it's only a doctor, a surgeon, or a pediatric nurse are the ones that I hear. And it's like, no, you should see how big the scope is of what's in healthcare. And then the other thing, I think that back to, well, I don't want to think that far back, but the wages have come a long way. And so, especially in a lot of these entry-level positions, as the need has grown. And so that's something too that I think that our area employers have worked very hard to make sure that they can pay the positions as well as what they can. And there have been great strides in that recently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is actually all of our time today. So thank you all of you panelists for being here with us. This is a lot of great information. Thank you to all of you for attending. The webinar has been recorded and will be available most likely on our council website, which again is wmihealthcareers.org. But if you want any other additional resources for finding jobs or job openings, check out West Michigan Works website, which is westmiworks.org. We have our weekly hot jobs resource. And then we also have on our industry spotlight page a lot of different healthcare resources as well in terms of career pathways, ways to get your foot in the door, and all of those sorts of things. So thank you all again for being here. Thank you for attending, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.